It's 8:30, it's time for the weekly meeting of the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors. We have an agenda in front of us. Is there any additions, corrections, deletions?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. County attorney, who is not here yet. BBUC project?
Yep. Tom's been able to make it this morning, so I'll run through the partial payment. This is for the wastewater treatment plant facility. This is going to go to Waukesha Construction. It's for the amount of $307,598.41. If you go back 2 pages, that's going to be your spreadsheet. In the column E, this period, this is what the contractor's submitting that they've done. Some basic mobilization, more excavation. They do have some concrete. We did get concrete out last week. And then on the next page, some conduits and wiring, which is all true. And after that, just some invoices for all the steel that's come. Like I said, we got concrete last week out at the wastewater treatment plant for the footings of the big oxidation ditch, which is good. There'll be a meeting out there next week at 10:30. You guys are welcome to come to that. Balance going good. Hinkle still. They're building up on the 2 big tanks there. There's a meeting there tomorrow at 9 that you guys are welcome to come to. I think that's about all I got.
Balance tomorrow at 9.
Yep, balance
The
tomorrow.
wastewater treatment is
Next Wednesday.
next week. He changed that then, because he was gonna have, last week I thought he said Balance at 9 and then out there at 10:30.
Okay, then he must have changed it. Yeah, I haven't heard nothing yet.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him, so that could very well be true. If you heard from Tom, that's probably right.
No, that was last week.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I guess I haven't caught up, but
Well, that's
I know
good.
9 o'clock tomorrow for sure. That one.
Okay.
Yep.
And where would that be taking place?
There's a Hinkle trailer out there,
Okay.
just kind of right off to the east of those big tanks that are out there right now. There's a trailer. This is Hinkle. Come on in.
Okay, well, what do you wanna pay these guys?
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the pay request for $307,598.21.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion. Hearing none, Wolflander.
Aye.
Hollis.
Aye.
Watt. Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 2, county attorney general discussion.
What would you like to do?
The only thing, I guess, again, is we have not come to a final resolution, I believe, on the Trano Bridge.
Okay.
Uh,
And you and I spoke a little bit about this yesterday.
Right.
This is the bridge, I'm pretty sure that the county had conveyed to Don Wilder, right?
Right.
Okay. And it's funny how your memory plays tricks on you, but I seem to remember Jerry doing the paperwork for that back in the early to mid-90s. And I'm gonna look to see if I can find something on that, because my mind could be playing tricks on me, but I'm confident there's paperwork on
Well, let's just assume
that. Okay?
that they do own it.
Okay?
I mean, obviously, if the county owned it, we'd have to do something probably, but
Right.
let's just assume they own it.
Okay?
Do you have a problem with us if we're having to make upwards of a $5,000 repair? I mean,
In other words, what you're saying, can we spend public money on private property?
yes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, with the
Yeah.
understanding that we believe that it could be more of a detriment to the county if we don't do anything as opposed to,
Yeah. Well, the law is, and we've had this discussion many times before, is you can't spend public money on a private, purely private project. If the county determines that there is some public purpose in doing that, then you can spend public money to do it. Guess who gets to make that decision?
You.
The county attorney.
Say that again?
If there is a determination made that spending public money on private property serves a public purpose, then you can use public money. And the AG's office always cautions to consult your county attorney before you do it, because the reason is, let's say the three of you decide to do it, and I disagree with you. Well, I can file charges against the three of you, but they also, the opinions say, every time anybody writes in and complains, it says, remember, the county attorney is going to give it considerable discretion to determine if there is a public purpose. So what they're saying is, if it's 99% private and 1% public, and the county attorney gives you the go-ahead, you're good. Nobody else can do anything about it.
We basically, years past, we had some issues for trout fishermen. Private property, there was mud holes, these old boys or gals, don't want to just pick on. There'd be mud holes in that, they'd get stuck or whatever, and we've hauled some rock on private property. And like I say, with
I don't remember those, but
It was all his idea.
I don't remember okay of that.
Yeah,
but I
you
may
do.
have, I just don't remember it.
But, I mean, a couple loads of rock,
Yeah.
it was on private property, I mean, just because the public was fishing and they were giving us permission and they were allowing trout to be stocked on the private property and so
Yeah.
on. And, I mean, that was another example of,
Well, whether or not this bridge is whoever's, because my understanding, nobody can find any
so
thing
far,
in the
yeah.
deeds or anything recorded that, you know, that it's his bridge. But if it is his bridge, then he has the liability on it, correct?
That's exactly right.
If that bridge was to wash out, fall against our bridge, that's his problem, correct?
That's his problem. Yes, it is.
Well, I know there's been some negotiations going on because I think the conservation would like some access there. So when you say that's a bargaining chip,
What's that? For conservation
for
or?
us to be fixing on that bridge,
Yeah,
because then we wouldn't be getting something in return for
Right.
it. Wouldn't be necessarily,
right, if conservation's gonna get an access out of it or something, right,
well, I mean, wouldn't that make more sense to go that route
right,
rather than to,
to just fix it. Yeah, I agree.
Be like an in-kind payment, we'd fix the bridge and we get the loan.
We get the access, yeah.
I mean, he's not giving up a whole lot and yet he's saving on the liability end of it. You know, but I've been up there and looked at it, I don't think that bridge, if it fell against our bridge, would probably make a scratch, but it'd be about it. But anyway, that's thinking about it.
That's where we are with that, so.
Okay,
Anything else?
anything else for the county attorney?
All right, thank you.
Ginger, E911 update. Looking in the claims, there's all kinds of,
Yeah, but
Right
really,
now?
it's better than it looks. Do you have that card in front of you?
no, but it's in the
Okay.
pile here if we wanted to,
I didn't make a bunch of copies because I was trying to save money.
because there's about 6 or 7 monitors.
Emergitech. Yeah. And I had a call anyway into Emergitech and also with Kurt Huntermark. The claim originally was for $27,847. That's our annual agreement, maintenance, and that's on all of our 911 equipment. And actually, I do have like, let me grab these other ones. I brought up the past 2 years, just from Emergitex. And this is actually down when you combine. I'll give you the past 2 years' history. The past 2 years, for our maintenance, we usually pay Emergitech a maintenance fee, And we used to always pay Livermore a maintenance fee. One was for Emergitech for all of our 911 equipment that's in the comm center. We always paid Emergitech or Livermore a maintenance fee on like the Teledent router that was in there. That was the big, now we've replaced that, that's gone. But we used to pay 25 and 26,000, this is 2 years. 1 year we paid almost 27,000 to Emergitech, and the previous year before that it was 25,000. And then we would also pay an additional 9,000 to Livermore for fees. So we're talking about $35,000 a year and $36,000 a year the last 2 years. That's what my annual fee was, to make sure all of our equipment ran. Well, now we got rid of the Teledent, so it dropped down to about $26,000 a year. So instead of paying the 35, now we're down to the 26. So actually it's a drop of about $10,000. So then when I got this bill, I called Kirk and I said, Kirk, I said I have to go in front of the board, and I said, they're questioning my maintenance fee, and unfortunately, when you have.
I don't know that we're questioning.
No, but
We want
the
an
amount.
we want an understanding of what's
Right.
going on, I guess, I mean, you know. I don't
And
know.
with newer equipment, it's more expensive. Last year, well, 2 years ago, we upgraded everything. We got everything ready for the new IP, which is the internet. Everything's going to go now through the internet. Everything's gonna be voice over internet, all the new equipment to handle texting, IP, all of that stuff that we're gonna be using. We won't be using like the dial tones like we have, but everything's gonna be changing. They're doing more with the cell phones, more with wireless. So we had to get all that upgraded, and that cost us about $75,000. They let us make payments over 3 years. So we've got almost everything we need. We do have to do a couple more upgrades, and I have those quotes that I wanted to talk to you guys about anyway. But, so our annual maintenance fee is gonna run around, this year it's showed 27th, but we did get two big credits. We had a credit of almost $900, and then I went through with them late yesterday afternoon, this morning, and we got another credit of $849, because we had all these monitors, like you had said, and some of them we have as backup monitors, which we could take off, because monitors are relatively cheap to replace. We had a couple, when the state came in and replaced the Teledent routers and took out some of the equipment, those came off. And so we went through item by item yesterday and knocked off another $850. So those have come off. So actually, that 26,964 that you guys saw is down to 26,115. So we
this-
have to adjust this one here. But in the meantime, I'm going for a grant, because we do have to do an upgrade. It's been just about 5 years. In dispatch 1 and dispatch 2, the towers and the monitors have to be replaced, and also my tower. And that's for a price of $19,798. And then we have to upgrade the camera trunks for the Mona Exchange, because those are done on old technology. When anybody up in Mona calls 911, it goes through the admin lines. It does not go through anything because of between Minnesota and Iowa. So we have to get those upgraded, and that's a one-time charge of $1265. Plus, we have to have internet put in there, which is a monthly charge of $30. But I'm going for a grant that will pay, if the state matches it, pays half of it. Also going to try to put on the sheriff's department. We have a voice recorder that 911 paid for, but with the changes of all the internet and all of that, we have to do some upgrades. We don't have to get a new recorder, but the cards and the software that goes with it has to be upgraded, and I think that's about $20,000, but I'm getting that quote from who we do our recorder with. So half of that will be in with this grant. And I'm calling the state after our meeting today to see if any of the maintenance from the new equipment that we just put in can be put on that for this year. So I'm gonna ask that that be pulled, and not be paid this time. I talked to Emergitech this morning and said, can we, it's due the end of the month, but until I find out how much we can put on. But we still, I mean, that will help for this year, but still, our budget, you know, I always budget in the 30s for our maintenance. I mean, that's just what it is. But at least for this year then. that
So
would
this is
help.
basically all of the equipment that's in dispatch and.
And in the back room,
Which back room?
way in the back room in the Sally Port. A lot of that equipment
Oh,
is,
okay.
is the voice recorder, it's the telephone system. The telephone system is also on this budget, or on the maintenance. We pay the maintenance on the telephone systems for the 16 lines, that's the com dial. Com dial isn't made
Is
anymore.
that, it's been a long time since I've been in the Sally Port.
Mhm.
Is there a special room that all of this is in? I mean,
Yeah. And come on over and I'll show you, because there's a lot more stuff in there probably since you've been in there. But it's the voice recorders, it's the telephone system, it's the 911 system, and it's all labeled, and then they have equipment in there too, but it's all labeled, what's 911, what's, for communications. And then it's the big tall rack in the comm center, and then dispatch 1 and 2, and then all the stuff underneath is all 911, plus the stuff in my room. So.
I guess it wouldn't hurt once to take a look at that.
It's all changed, because we changed, we upgraded everything 2 years ago, and Emergitech let us. And for our maintenance, I mean, we were hit by lightning and our voicemail all went out on all the phones, and that's all paid for. And we get 24/7 all the time. If we ever have a problem, we can call them anytime. They're up here, we never get a charge. Kurt Huntermark comes up at 3 o'clock in the morning, does all our service. I have never gotten a bill for repair in the 12 years that I have worked for Emergitech. Never have gotten 1 penny for service or repair, never, because it's all covered under our maintenance. And we know that if you don't have maintenance, you can get a $3,000 service charge, and that's not for any equipment. I mean, I know it looks like a lot, but we never, any phone call we make, we just never get a charge.
So if we get hit by lightning, they take care of it.
Yeah, and
We don't
we
turn
got
that
hit
into
by
our
lightning and it
insurance,
took out our radio system, but
Maybe
it
you
took
should
out our
get this.
voicemail.
What's that?
Maybe you should get this.
Oh, I might.
Well, our voice recorder, I think, well, you have the maintenance on that. I bought it, but he's got the maintenance on it, that's covered. Our voicemail was covered, and when our phones, when we got hit, but our voicemail went out, and it was covered under our,
You look at
under
those
this
figures and
maintenance.
they're big figures, but when I have Joel come and do some computer work at $100 an hour, if he spends a day there, it's over $1,000.
Yeah,
This is costing us $66 a day, so.
yeah. And
It's
and
just
I call,
expensive stuff.
and Kurt Huntermark is, I call him and I never get a charge from him. And I mean, I can call him twice a week. I call Emergitech, like today, I was on the phone with him yesterday afternoon and today, and Kirk has nothing to do with Emergitech, but he's helping me try to get this grant together. I mean, I leave on vacation on Wednesday, and we're pulling all this stuff together. He doesn't have to do that, but he does it, because he's worked with me ever since I started with this county in 2000. He doesn't have to do that, but he does it. And it's not, you know, it's not any charge, ever. So I know it looks like a lot, but when I'm gone, if there's ever a problem, any of the people in the comm center can call him, and they'll walk them through. Or anybody can call Emergitech, and they'll walk them through it. So I know it looks like a lot, but it's down, we're down $10,000 from the past 2 years now. And Kirk wouldn't have to do this because, you know, we don't, but he's on, you know, he works as a sideline with Emergitech. So,
So how much income do we get a year then from the 911 charges on the
on our
telephone?
surcharge?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't bring that with me, but,
Do you have, a rough idea? I mean,
well, let's see. We have wireline, well, our wireless surcharge just increased. We used to get 6,000 to 7,000 every quarter, and now that's double, that's 12,000 right now, each quarter. So that's, 24, 48, almost,
48.
no, because it's every quarter.
48,000 a year.
14.
Yeah, so, and then my surcharge is, it used to be into the hundreds, but it's dropped, and we're probably getting about 74,000. So we don't ever have to have any money from the county or anything like that. So we're self-supporting right now. But I have to budget very carefully, because landline is dropping. But now they, hopefully they're trying to get the wireless surcharge money, everybody pays. It used to be, it was 50 cents, and now they're getting that up to $1, and we're getting at least, 68 cents now on wireless. So that helps. And we've been self-sufficient since it started with surcharge, so we're good there. So, and now they just changed the law for surcharge. You used to have to not be able to go over 25% of your income, or you wouldn't get surcharge money. The law has passed now, and they've amended Chapter 34, so now that doesn't apply anymore. So we can reserve funds for future improvements or upgrades that we have to do. And they have started now where we went almost a full year where we couldn't get any grant money, and now we can get up to $50,000 every year. And so I don't have $50,000 worth of, $100,000 worth of upgrades that I need to do, so that's why I'm trying to see what he needs that would qualify, where anything that needs to be, that you need to answer 911 phone calls or wireless calls will account, and the voice recording is one of them, so.
Is Omnitel still the highest charge when you have to do it?
Just got another, no, they aren't, CenturyLink is worse. But I just got
What
another.
do they charge in the?
Well, I just got one from
Address.
Omnitel, and now it's 15.1%. It went up another %. My phone bills are higher than my maintenance bills. Phone bills, I spend about $39,000 on my phone service charges. So, but my Mona exchange runs me almost, just that one alone runs me almost $7,000, just for that little Mona exchange to get those calls to come down on a admin line. That's why we need to do the camera trunk delivery. And it's a big chunk, but then those will come in like regular 911 calls where we'll get the information like we do all the other ones, rather than on the admin line and have to take them to a touch. And for 122 records, it doesn't sound like much, but if you're living up there, it's everything. It only affects 23 households, but they have to build the records for all of them, both in Minnesota and in Iowa. So, it's a long time coming, but I'd love to have you guys come over and see the new equipment. Just don't do it in the next 15 days, because I won't be there. But, yeah.
Well, I feel so much better that she's self-sufficient.
But actually, it's down $10,000
Yeah, good.
over the last 3 years.
I'm glad you're looking into the
Grants and that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, they've been closed for a year because the state had things they had to do, and they went around and put in a lot of equipment in everybody's, and that's all marked, and everything, that's for the ICN equipment. And if anything goes wrong with that, we'll be down, but that's not our problem. It's the state's problem, they'll know it before we know it. And, because everything's going ICN, that's why we have to have these upgrades done. So. And if you could just hold that one until I hear back to see if they'll extend that payment until we know how much we qualify. And I'll let you know before I leave on vacation, because I'll find out from the state today. And I have to adjust the amount anyway, because it's lower.
Well, just due to timing, should we maybe do a hand warrant if you find that out, or?
Yeah,
is it 2
because I
weeks?
already know it's gonna be $849 less, and I'll put it'll have to be handwritten, I'll know it by the end of today. So,
See. Well, if we pay the second claim session, we'll still be okay.
It has to be, well, it's due by the end of the month.
Yeah, this is, so we could do it, we'll pay it the 22nd time.
Okay,
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 well, that's fine.
Rather than do it handwritten.
okay.
As
So,
long as you've got 30 days to pay it.
yep,
And just October 1st is the date, so
okay. So I
we'll be
will,
okay.
I'll let you know when it's.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that,
Okay.
yeah, it just stuck out and so.
I know, I thought, but really, it's a lot better than it was.
But no, it's good to get an update on what's happening.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Have a nice vacation.
Oh, I will.
Sheriff Beaver, you got anything?
No, holding 3 this morning, 2 for burglary out of Minnesota, 1 unregistered sex offender out of Minnesota that we picked up for him. So, unless you guys have questions for me, or anyone here,
Don't have anything. Peaceful and quiet.
yeah, well,
In our world, maybe
Yeah.
not yours,
yeah, had a car crash yesterday at Hickory and 218. I called Rich on that one, he's gonna look at it too, but one of the drivers claimed it was hard to see coming into the intersection and somehow maybe implied that it contributed to the crash, but I don't think that's gonna be a factor. There's a farmstead that sits, it's abandoned on the east side of Hickory as you come onto 218 there, and pulled out to get a better view so you didn't see the car, and then came into the intersection, got T-boned. But it's not something that, we don't have a lot of crashes there, so just a claim that, but anyway, things like that.
Yeah, those trees are close to the whatever, but again, I think they are on private property. I mean,
Yeah,
it
and
appears to be
and
anyway.
Rich said the right of way, the state's right of way is pretty narrow there too, so.
This way, yeah.
It's not something that we've seen crash after crash at that intersection, so.
Anybody seriously hurt or?
Two were hurt. We did fly one to Rochester from the hospital later in the day, but, not a life-threatening injury, but just more than they could deal with at our hospital, so they went.
People from Mitchell County, was that?
Yes, yeah, they are, both parties involved, Mitchell County folks. Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. County engineer will not be here today. And he's at our conference at,
Oh, that's right.
hopefully learning how to lobby those DOT folks.
Sounds like you had been online 10 years ago, and anything done.
But I've been hearing a little bit about wild parsnips, and apparently they are a problem. And they said this is the time of the year that if they actually are in our ditches and that, we ought to be doing something. I mean, you don't spray them in the summer, you spray them at this time of the year. And so that's something maybe next week we can talk to Richie about.
Do you break the flowers of them, or make it photosensitive and cause burns?
Make it what?
Photosensitive, sensitivity to your skin causes burns. So, you know,
Where did this come
I don't know, but I'm hearing about it.
very invasive.
from? Where are they at?
Well, that's something that maybe secondary roads, when I was with, we had to go to Webster City last Friday again on the project. And Rick Schwartz was telling me about them, and that's who's been emailing me a bunch of stuff on it, and I haven't read up on them yet. But he said they are an invasive species that we want to keep under control. So, just something.
Wild parsnips.
Wild parsnips.
Do you know if Rich has talked with FEMA again yet, or is FEMA
Well,
working,
first-
or are they laid off?
I talked to him for something else yesterday, but, so I asked him if FEMA was still around or if they were shut down, and apparently he was visiting with another individual, and he did not bring your thing up, but we apparently he's ready to move forward on a couple of these culverts, these rail cars to get going on them, so. But the gal there wasn't sure, again, whether or not he should be going forward or not, and quite a circus with, seems like every week they change the rules for, but no, I do not know. Minutes. I read them.
Or- Do you have Tony for attendance? Tony Kings?
I had him in the body there, so if they're in the body and I'm doing something, then I don't save it. 2 extra letters. Call.
Oh, did you have to bring?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve them?
Second.
Been moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Paulus.
Aye.
Okander.
Aye.
Rock, aye, motion carried. Claims.
Oh, I wanna look at them, yeah.
Okay, why don't we take,
Did you see them all? Been through?
I went through the book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
why don't we take a 5-10 minute recess? And,
One that one, I'll try to get running today again,
okay.
but get that one back to the grounds and put it away for
I
the
make
winter.
motion to approve the claims if we're back in session.
And then the one sitting right next to it, I'm hoping to get that going yet this fall, put that away for the winter.
Been moved and second to approve the claims, further discussion.
With the exception of this one,
With the exception of this one.
of the emergent tech.
Merge tech for the,
Number
whatever it was.
3803.
Yeah, we'll need that number put in the book, is that?
Mhm.
Okay, Booklander,
Aye.
Paulus,
Aye.
Rock, aye, motion carried. Items to note, meetings attended. The only thing I had again is I had a meeting last week on the project.
Yeah. Didn't have anything.
I notified everyone on new contact. There's a couple of boards that no longer, the tobacco board, that are no longer in
Functioning.
that, yeah, so.
All right, anything else for the good of the cause? I see they put the
Yeah.
one backwards for the, if not, we'll stand adjourned 10 after 9.